Welcome, one and all, once again back to the luscious podcast of Solitude on this Father's Day special. Not when you're hearing it, but when we're recording, which makes it insignificant.
Happy
Along
Father's
with
Day.
Happy Father's Day. Along with me are two other fathers, Colm and Sam.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome, Dad.
Thanks, Daddy.
Okay, and there he was. I knew it was coming. You know what? I knew the second I said it. That's exactly what I'm faced with. Was you?
Daddy Belt.
Daddy Belt. That's right. That was your nickname back in film school or whatever you did.
For a week? Not even. It's only 5 days.
Oh, it was a weird 5 days. So
And what a 5 days was.
you should tell those stories on the podcast in the hopes that some of those people will someday listen. You know, when we've broke bad.
I'm
Somehow,
going to talk so much shit. I don't think that's going to go well.
one of these days, everyone's going to dig up the Daddy Belt video on YouTube.
Even
And then-
I've lost the link. Like, I can't even find that video anymore even when I try.
You reckon it's been taken down?
No.
It's been reported.
It's been reported for implications of child abuse.
I mean, yeah.
Anyways, this week we're talking Loki episode 2. And I think Sam wants to talk about Inside, and maybe we'll talk about some of the things we went up to at the end. We'll just see how long
Maybe
this goes
outside.
for. Outside? Colin wants to talk about Outside. Yep.
Ugh, what a nerd.
Nerd! Yeah, but anyways, let's just crack into it. This was a much better episode than last week's, I feel.
I agree. It's good.
We're doing something slightly different this week, guys. I actually haven't seen the episode yet, but I think I know what happens. But I'm doing this podcast half blind.
We're going
It's
to
a
play a
young-
game called Let Colm Guess What Happens.
Yeah,
That's what
let me
we're
know
gonna
what happens. Also, I watched a really cool video today of a guy speculating how the season finale might end, like based on one of the Loki comics, and like it makes a lot of sense. And I might talk about that.
You know what I think we should do? I think we should just cut that part. Hi. Let me try that again. I think we should just cut that part out where you said you heard it in the video, and you should just spinball it and make it sound like you came up with the theory.
What part where I said I heard in the video?
Where you said you heard somebody else say it, yeah.
I say that,
It's
You
your
did say
theory now. It's your theory now.
guys. I'm pretty sure I said I have a theory of how Loki
Yeah,
ends. I'm gonna
actually,
talk about
that is what you said,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's, yeah, correct.
Right.
But I'll let you guys go into spoilery and non-spoilery stuff first before jumping in.
Well, the
non-spoilery.
biggest spoilery stuff Jordan already ruined last week, so don't worry.
Did I? How?
Yep.
What did I say?
You literally said, "Oh, well, it's already been revealed because a bunch of critics saw the reviews early and they spoiled it." And oh yeah, I'm just going to spoil it now.
Wait, but what did I say? That spoiled
What?
anything?
Well, we're not in the spoiler territory yet, so I can't say, can I?
Was this the bit where I said that a thing was revealed through a set photo?
And through early reviews, yes.
Okay, I don't know what was revealed through early reviews because I hadn't seen any at the time. I just saw that set photo.
Okay, well, either way, you ruined it. So it's still
Yeah,
your fault.
that's fine. No one listens to this, Sam. Who cares?
I have to listen to it when I edit.
Yeah, true. I thought this was a much stronger episode. I liked the fact that Loki got to do a bit more. Yeah, but even though he got like the bullet points of his life in the first episode, he's kind of caught up emotionally with the Loki we know, but he's also just hasn't. If that makes sense. Because he's still up to his old stupid shenanigans, and he's like as arrogant as he could be. Whereas come Thor Ragnarok, like he's a completely different person.
Oh yeah.
Whereas in this one, like you can tell he's just trying not to be out of his depth, or make it seem like he's not, but he just is.
Yeah.
And I really like that bit in the tent, which we'll talk about in spoilers.
Oh yeah.
When he goes on the big long speed.
Yeah.
But yes, Sam.
Yeah, I agree. It was good. It was better than the first one. Hold on. Okay, I found the old film school video.
Oh, good.
Time to copy strike it.
Put that in the description of this podcast upload.
It somehow has almost 190 views, which is
They're all me.
190
And
too
Jordan.
many.
Me, Jordan. Every single day.
Mhm. There we go.
Pain. But no, back to Loki. Yeah, very good episode. I was a little worried at the start of it that this was going to be like the classic new adventure every week type scenario. And Loki's just going to be part of the TVA going on wacky adventures. That's what it kind of looked like in the first 10 minutes, I thought. But that doesn't happen. So we're good.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that they explain more about the TVA in this. Because honestly, I still have many questions about its existence.
Do you want to explain some of that stuff to me, since I might not know it all, or is that too spoilerish?
We'll get into it in a minute.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We will.
Yeah. I mean,
They've definitely
John's-
They've cleared a lot of stuff up from last week, and they have created like twice as many questions. But
Yes, exactly.
I feel like I really do feel like they know where they're going with this, and we are just along for the ride at the minute. I do think it will make sense by the end, but
Yeah.
not in any way that we've been led to believe.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, with last week's episode, I was really scared they were just going to go with the approach of, sure, don't worry about it.
Uh-huh.
Which would not have worked for me, because again, it's too big for that.
You're a big worrier, Sam. That's what's wrong.
You're right, I am. I'm worried about this terrible film I made coming out into public light.
What's it called? Actually, don't tell us what it's called, but because it's not called Daddy Belt. That was just your character's name.
No, here's the thing. Daddy Belt is never addressed as such in the movie. That's just a behind-the-scenes thing.
That's just what they all called you.
Yeah.
Offset too. They all called you that. It was weird.
Call him what?
Daddy Belt.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Offset too. Yeah.
he just showed up. He just showed up one day, and they were like, "Oh, Daddy Belt's here."
He showed up one day, and they're like, "Oh, he's wearing a belt."
Oh, he's beating that kid with a belt.
Sure. Well, let's say that's what happened. Okay, it's called Obsession. I can tell you that because I just did a YouTube search for it, and it didn't show up in the first 100.
Okay, cool.
So we're good.
Right. Do you want me to quickly say my theory for how the show might come up, and then like you guys, theory. I did like quotation marks with my hands, but no one can see me doing that when I said my theory. But
Should
anyway,
we do that before or after spoilers?
I mean, I don't think this has anything to do with episode 2. I could fire this theory out, and then you guys can tell me if like episode 2 gives like a good indication like that this might go that way. It's more episode 1 than anything else. So anyway, basically, there's a comic called Journey into Mystery, Fear Itself about Loki, and at the end, the gist of it is Loki, I think he gets reincarnated, or his mantle or whatever gets passed on to a child, Loki. So he like basically re-evolves into a child Loki, and then the comic ends with adult Loki giving him like words of wisdom, kind of saying this whole thing about don't be predictable, like go with chaos and kind of be what Loki should be, God of Mischief, that kind of thing. Which is pretty cool. And I think that kid then goes on to do stuff with the Young Avengers later on. But the way I'm thinking I might go with this show is the Loki that we know at the moment, he stays within the TVA. And this theory is kind of like in a way to satisfy like all the fans, so the fans can have Tom Hiddleston Loki, but they can also have like a current Loki in the current timeline and stuff. So basically, you have Kid Loki, who may have been who we saw in episode 1, or it might be someone else that we see later. And basically, the future Loki, who Sam was talking about last week, destroys the village or the universe, maybe whole timeline of this kid. And Loki then take the Loki that we know, the one that's in the TVA. He then protects his kid, and he puts him in the Prime timeline, the MCU timeline, and gives him the mantle of Loki, like lets him become the new Loki and stuff like that, and kind of passes on wisdom to him. And meanwhile, the Loki that we all know remains within the TVA for future MCU stuff.
What you're saying is adult Loki sends kid Loki to his inevitable death.
No, he puts him back. I think he puts him in the timeline after Loki's death.
Okay.
Because it's
That's-
it's to do with, I think it's to do with the fact that like otherwise you'd have two Lokis coexisting at the same time. So it's like once Loki dies at the hands of Thanos, then this new kid Loki kind of comes back. But at the same time, it's not like it's kind of like Doctor Who thing. Like I don't think it's meant to be the same person. I think it's meant to be like the mantle of Loki, but he still has all the powers and stuff. Like different personality.
but everyone hated when Doctor Who did that.
I don't see that happening at all. Not because, not for any reason really, other than we're 2 episodes into what, a 6-episode show? 8?
Yes.
6?
6, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, a 6-episode show, and there's not the slightest indication of that anywhere. And you look at all the successful like mentor-student relationships, like dad and boy from God of War, Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us, Geralt and Ciri from The Witcher, and it's like the most successful of those relationships are the ones that are established super early on, and they are the focus. And I think to bring that in now, I honestly think all the writers at Marvel will be smarter than to not bring it in for 2 episodes and then be like, this is the driver of the show.
It also puts a lot of pressure on them to get like that good writing in with just so few episodes left.
Yeah. No, I don't see it happening. I think if it was, we'd have seen it from episode 1.
Was there anything to do with the burning down of that thing that we got in episode 1 by future Loki, where he burned stuff and then walks away with the hood up?
No.
That wasn't episode 2 yet.
No, future Loki shows up. Although we're pretty sure it's not future Loki now. It could be, but I don't think so.
Yeah, they explain why the alternative Loki, whatever, wants the time grenades, and they explain more about how they work. Still brings up more questions that they answer, but
yeah,
that's cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Do we want to get into the grenades? Because that's relatively spoiler-free, I think.
Yeah, I think we can just say spoilers from now and get into the grenades to start with.
That's good, because I have something else to say on the theory, but that was going to be spoilery.
Okay. Well, let's say spoiler from here on out. Look, it's good. I think this may be the best episode of any like Disney Plus show.
Oh, what? I haven't seen it. Oh,
yeah,
damn.
well.
Okay, cool. Right.
I mean, you can see it. You will see it. I don't think I think knowing how it ends is going to muddle the execution, because I think it's it's more execution than content. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It might, but I think you should be good too.
Yeah.
Probably.
I know it's a bold claim because we've had 2 fairly middling shows with some good episodes.
I was going to say, like, WandaVision had some good episodes.
Yeah, but in hindsight, it doesn't feel like they had a clear vision. I like the fact
I agree.
They bounced from time period to time period in that one. But come the end of it, and the fact that at the end, like, anything could have happened up until that end point, and then it was just lasers again and big red sky. And it's like, literally anything could have been done to get us here.
Oh, you're just upset there was no Mephisto. Your fan theory got ruined, John. Your point doesn't make sense. I'm on Twitter.
I never thought Mephisto, but my girlfriend, who Sam hates me bringing up on the podcast,
it's a flex.
It's not a flex. was convinced Mephisto. I suppose that's like people with money saying having money isn't important. So yeah, get flexed on, nerd. Dab. Sorry. No, Microtron was convinced.
I like how whenever we're on a podcast, like we can't actually see each other do all these motions, like dabbing or quotation
That's
marking.
why we say it.
So we have
That's
to
why we
actually
say
say it.
I mean, normally we'd be in the same. Well,
Uh,
not normally. I mean, normally podcasters would be in the same room
yeah,
so that at least they would see it. But I just dabbed in a room by myself.
yeah. And I dabbed in
Um,
response to your dab.
oh, thanks.
Me too. Me
Um,
too.
Good
what were we talking about? Anyways, doesn't matter.
dabbing.
Happening.
Yeah. No, I think this episode was the best out of any
Cool.
we've had.
Cool.
Even if it was a little slow, I just think it was cool. I think
Okay.
this show has the better atmosphere out of any of the shows, and it feels like it's actually like doing something.
I
Yeah.
agree with that.
That's good.
Okay, spoiler time.
Yep. Let's get into it.
On that note, can we take a 2-minute pause for me to go take a dump?
Yeah. And we're gonna keep this in the podcast.
I was hoping Sal would edit it out, like he will. Edit
No,
it.
I'm keeping
Gone,
that
but-
in. I'm
Yeah.
keeping
Alright,
that in.
fine. Well, edit out the next 2 minutes then, I guess. Or you two talk. I don't care. Anyways, I'll be back.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you can talk if you want, Sam. I haven't seen the whole episode, so if you want to say anything and fill me in on stuff before Jordan gets back, you could. Oh, do you want to explain to me how the time grenades work briefly? Then whenever Jordan gets back, we can like discuss them properly.
Yeah, so basically what they do is when they explode, they have like a certain radius. And then okay, so something in a timeline happens that's not supposed to, right? Like let's say someone throws a glass of water on the ground, but that glass of water was never supposed to be thrown on the ground. Right?
Yeah.
If you then throw one of those grenades on that spot, it erases all evidence of that happening. Something happening that shouldn't have happened. It just reverts back to that stage before the water, the glass of water broke, basically.
Yeah.
The thing where it brings up more questioning now is that it doesn't apply to like people, or at least they don't explain if it does. So it's like still the question, like in the first episode when Loki appeared in the desert in Mongolia, and then they took him with them, and then they threw it on the ground there. Like all that grenade did was it got rid of like
dust
his
or whatever. Yeah,
like
wherever he landed.
the imprint of his body on the hand, and maybe like the couple of footsteps he took. Like that's gone. But apart from that, like they don't explain if it also erases the mind of like the people that saw him. Like did they never see him now? Is that just gone?
Actually,
there's no explanation of that.
So interesting. But maybe it's a case where if those people do remember, they have no way of proving that they did see it. And it also it's the same kind of thing with like the DB Cooper thing in the first episode, where like he just vanished. Like people claimed that he was there, but there's no evidence of who he was or anything like that.
Sure, but at the same time, like if it's something that's not supposed to happen, people knowing about something that happened,
true.
That's still that could still change something in the timeline later on. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah.
And then it further confused me because at some point in the episode they go to like it's like somewhere in Wisconsin, like the 70s or in the 80s, because there was like another murder thing that happened by other Loki.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And they go, they do their weird doorway and they just walk in and there's like some sort of festival happening, but they're just walking around in their like TVA clothes. Like they've got their security with them in their futuristic clothing, just walking around this festival. And some people are like making notes of their appearance stuff. And it's like, do their minds, do they forget that happening when the TVA leaves again? They don't explain that.
Oh.
Like that's stuff I want to know.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh.
So,
the thing is, like, it's still confusing me as well. Is like the time works differently in the TVA, but if they go to these time points, like, will will time affect? Will time affect you if you go to like a certain time point? Like, say, like hypothetically, like Loki goes to a random point in time from the TVA, and he stays there for a while. Will he age?
I had the
Or
exact
like,
same question with the
yeah,
first episode as well. Where
yeah,
like,
or like,
and
yeah,
yeah,
because then there could be like multiple Lokis coexisting at certain like all the same point in time as well. If he goes to a point in time where he's still alive.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's. I don't know. Like I was wondering
Hmm.
first episode as well, and like Loki kind of mentions it. Like he asks like what time period is the TVA in, but they don't give him an answer.
Yeah, we just say time works differently here in the TVA.
Yeah, exactly. Like the same thing happens in the second episode. Like it's the
Yeah.
same man. So
Oh,
like again, so my thing is it must be in like a different dimension then, right? Where just time doesn't pass,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that would make sense.
Um.
Yeah, many
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Or maybe it's like future technology. They've learned how to like harness time, and then they've created the kind of time bubble where nothing, time doesn't pass in or out of. Maybe.
Yeah,
Like
that could also
I
work.
don't know. Yeah. Like I don't know where Owen Wilson belongs. Like in the timeline, for example. Like I don't know if he's like years into the future.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. It's
That's
just
another thing I'm confused about. Is where did they find all of these people
yeah. Like
that
how
work at the TVA? Like, did they just
exactly? Yeah.
kidnap them as
Yeah.
children and then, like, how did
Yeah.
were they just created out of like thin air by the time?
Yeah.
I keep want to say Time Lords, but that's Doctor Who.
Time
Uh,
variance. Yeah.
yeah, the Time Gods variants, whatever they are.
They're actually in the comics as well. I've just looked them up. It's a Wikipedia
Oh,
page
really?
for them. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
What I miss?
I don't think there's much explanation though. It just says they're responsible for monitoring the multiverse and can prune timelines if deemed too dangerous to exist.
Okay. Hey, Jordan, you're back from your dump.
Yep,
How was it?
it's really good. Thanks.
Rated out of
Cool.
10.
Like a 9.
Uh
So it wasn't perfect. Unlucky.
I mean, what is?
that's true. That's true. What is
Loki episode 2.
Yeah.
No, so I've just explained to Colm how the time grenades work, or at
Cool.
least how they explained it that they work.
Still doesn't explain what they do about the fact that they reset time with Loki in another part of the world to the Avengers.
Exactly, and what I
Yeah.
specifically mentioned as well, but I don't understand is how it works with people. Where they just like,
because it you saw it like just disintegrate helmets, and I guess they go back to the TVA,
yeah, I guess,
or
but
do they just get nuked because they're not meant to be there?
exactly. Like another question I mentioned this to Colm while you were taking your shit. Which one? That part in the episode where they go to the festival in Wisconsin in the 80s or 70s, whichever one it was, and like a bunch of people see them just walking around in their somewhat futuristic clothing. Like you've got the riot squad over there. Like once they leave the TVA, once they leave, do the people just forget, or what happens? Do you have any insight on that, Mr. Dump?
My call started cutting out pretty bad there for a little second, and I don't know what you were saying.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
I was asking you. Okay, when did the call cut off?
I will be honest, it was jittery after people from the 80s.
Okay. if at that festival a
Yes.
bunch of people saw the TVA, right? Because they
Mhm,
made
mhm.
comments on their appearance. Once the TVA left,
Oh, did the grenades extend that far? Is that your question?
did
To like
the
get them?
grenades make the people forget, or do the people just forget automatically because the TVA is like some kind of different whatever entity?
Yeah, like do they? Because this is the thing. They seem to allow a certain amount of variance.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if those grenades just take out the whole festival and literally anybody that's seen them just retakes their place in the universe and goes on as if they didn't see, the futuristic SWAT team walk past.
yeah.
Um, yeah, or maybe they're just allowed. Maybe it's just like it won't make enough of a difference, and if it does,
Yeah.
we'll show up and grenade the place.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to think that either they're not as all knowing, or this isn't as an important a mission as they've made it out to be, or something.
Or the writers are lazy.
Sorry.
Or the writers of the show are lazy.
Well, this is my worry. It's just a time travel story, and therefore half of it doesn't make sense automatically by default. That's what I'm worried about.
Me too.
But maybe we'll be good. Maybe.
Again, this episode gave me hope.
It really did. And I don't need it to make sense. I mean, they've introduced a different form of time travel that Avengers Endgame did, which, brings into question multiverses and time travel and quantum realms and all that fun stuff. But, at the same time, it's like, how do I put this? Okay, so you know how in the first episode it seemed to be made out that the Time Variance Authority were trying to avoid a multiverse, right?
Yeah. They said that was like their whole purpose, wasn't it?
But if there's different variants of Loki that don't look the same and do different things, isn't there already a multiverse?
That brings us to the big spoiler that happened this episode. I haven't told Colm about this yet. There's a female
we can
Loki.
avoid that. Okay.
No, we're not. We're not avoiding that. We're not avoiding that.
I was just gonna say, because he goes through a flick screen and you see like Sporty Loki, Goat Head Loki, Hulk Loki.
Yeah. That was quite funny.
And it's like, if all those variants exist, and if this version of Loki that's a murderer, which I took the second she shows up in hooded form at like the start of this episode, I was like, it's gonna be a female Loki.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like,
that's why I don't think it's as big of a deal to say this now to Colm who hasn't seen it, because it's not that big. Yeah.
Who's that actress that plays her? Because she's very familiar.
Yeah, I looked her up after I watched the episode. Let me see.
So many tabs open, 2 different windows open.
Oh.
Yeah, like, I mean, I again, I haven't seen the full episode, but from what you guys are saying, if these Time Lords exist, I'm guessing what it is like they know the outcomes of like everything that can happen.
Yeah.
And then I don't know whether it's like the timeline that they want or the timeline that is best for like literally everyone. But either way, it's like it must be to do with the fact that like keeping all of these Lokis is like the best outcome for the full timeline. And this one Loki will just cause chaos in the timeline for whatever reason.
Oh, and she does. At the end of this episode, she does something that's like you'd expect to see it in the second to last episode, kind of thing.
Really?
Which I'm happy with, because it means that the show is actually going to do different things than.
Yeah,
that's actually so cool.
Also, I'm looking at her Wikipedia filmography. I don't think I've seen her in it. I don't know why she's so familiar.
What's her name?
Sophia Di Martino?
That's the one.
Yeah. She was apparently in Yesterday, the movie you were telling us about, Colm.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
I'll go on Wikipedia as well.
Yeah, but no, she here I'll link it. She causes some mayhem, and she has a pretty interesting conversation with real Loki.
So
Yeah.
she's a female Loki. Do you say yeah?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But apparently she hates being called Loki.
Yeah, which is another thing. We
Yeah, so-
really know nothing about.
Yeah. Here's another thing. Whenever I was talking about that theory about that one comic, and
Mhm.
you have I think he gets reincarnated into the child at the end. He either gets reincarnated or he dies or something happens to the timeline and this child is now Loki. Whatever reason, like then adult Loki is talking to the child and adult Loki calls himself Cole, which is Loki backwards, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, which again I guess raises the question that maybe they all go by different names in some way or form. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting as well, I think, the concept of Loki, because it's almost as if you need him in the universe to keep it stable, or like to keep chaos.
to the stability.
Yeah, you need chaos in the universe. It's basically why you need Loki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the concept. Are all these different Lokis? Are they all from different timelines then? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It looks that way, at least.
It's
Well,
actually crazy.
This is what's really confusing me is that if we're trying to avoid a multiverse, but also there are variants of Loki.
So a multiverse definitely exists.
That's what I was about to say. It's just.
This is what I'm thinking.
Mind-boggling.
Maybe that but like Loki doesn't call him on it. Like this doesn't make any sense to what you said before. That's what makes me think it could just be shoddy writing.
It could be what? Sorry.
Like shoddy writing, like just.
Oh
bad. Yeah. Lazy.
Which worries me a little.
Me too.
It worries me because it's like we're following Loki. Like we're kind of in Loki's shoes in this show, and it's like if I were in his position, like straight up, I'd just be asking all the questions I can. He just doesn't. Like he does accept so much from the get go.
Well, no, he does. He asks questions in this episode.
Yeah.
About the timekeepers specifically as well. Like how do they work?
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like he does ask questions, just not about.
Okay. Fair.
Strict, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like I kind of think that maybe the Timekeepers Authority are just not doing what they say they're doing. Like, as the animation seems to have them like Thanos style, Kang the Conqueror types, but what do you call it? I think they could be behind computers. Or they could be long dead, and really, more Mobius's handler is just running the show.
Yeah,
that wouldn't be surprising. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking, like I was saying to Sam, I feel like there's some kind of future organization that have just learned to harness time. And it'll be cool if they kind of use the idea of Tony Stark's time travel invention to spring off.
Mm.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because it'll be strange if it'll be real coincidental if you have Tony Stark invent time travel and then all of a sudden all these other time people come about.
Yeah, I still think back every now and again to the fact that there's just a time travel machine sitting outside Avengers HQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that they can use at any time.
I mean, I also think it's strange that Tony just came up with this in 15 minutes.
Well,
But-
he didn't technically. You mean the machine or the concept of time travel?
concept.
Well, he didn't really. Like, it was.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was
Tony-
Ant-Man. Ant-Man that came up with it, and then Tony just fixed the equation. Like, most of the stuff was already done. They were
You
just like tiny
you say he
mistakes.
fixed it too. He went to his AI and said, "Hey, run this and see what the probability is that we won't instantly get turned to shredded meat."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Ah,
Mm.
99% works." And he was like, "Whoa, I've solved it."
Yeah. That's what happened in Endgame. Like he did nothing. His
He had a-
AI.
he had a computer, which in fairness he probably designed.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
But like it was. I don't think it was Scott. I think it was Hank Pym that originally came up with it. Probably.
it was.
Yeah.
He
But-
came out of the
okay.
quantum realm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's a joint effort as well. Because then Bruce did a lot of the actual engineering behind the machine.
Bruce
Fair
Wayne.
enough. Yeah.
Of course.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What other Bruce is there?
None. Never met one.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a good episode.
I do like the fact as well that Loki goes off with female Loki through the time door, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Even though he could like hang out with Mobius and try to sort things out. But also I don't think he's just betrayed them. I think he will try to bring them her head, as it were.
Oh yeah. Like, do you want to talk? You mentioned the tent scene earlier.
Oh, the
You wanna
tent
talk
scene,
about that?
yeah. So basically, the TVA sends one of their hit squads to go and track down this variant. They walk into a tent at a Renaissance fair, and then female Loki cuts them all down and kidnaps the. I think she's the squad leader. Who I think is the girl that plays Alice in Hellboy 2019, which is the worst film I've ever seen in my life.
Fair.
He's not
And
exaggerating.
she's a fine actress here, but in that movie, gosh, every word, like every sentence out of her mouth, just makes me want to jump off a building. Because she goes between this British accent and an American accent at the same time, and so does this other guy that turns into a tiger for some reason. Anyways,
Getting off topic.
um,
I'm enjoying it.
yeah, I'll just keep spiraling. And they cut the lady's head off and put it in a box for 1,000 years now. What a trash film. And I still think it's worth watching just to get upset because the first half of it's actually pretty good. There's so much, anyways. Look,
I might watch it.
you
No.
should, but if you say that it's good by the end, I will never speak to you again. You understand this?
You will be kicked from the podcast.
It will be a 2-man podcast if you enjoy it. I am just saying. You have
Anyway,
to watch it and go out of your way to hate it. Anyways, enough about Hellboy. Yeah, no.
Renaissance Fair.
What was talking? Yes, the Renaissance Fair. And she kidnaps the squad lead, and we don't really figure out what that's about until the end of the episode, where she's like, "Oh no, I revealed the location of the timekeepers," and it's like, "Oh dear." But yeah, so she wipes out that squad, and then later on, Loki goes there with them, and he's like, "Oh, I figured it out. If you leave that tent, you'll die. It's a trap." And he goes on for 5 minutes about how he's inside this Loki's head, and this other Loki's inside his head. And he's like, "This is much more serious. I need to speak to the timekeepers at once." And Owen Wilson at that point just twigs, and he's like, "Yeah, you had me good. All right, get us out of here." I just thought that was a great scene.
Oh yeah, it was. It was a very good scene. Very enjoyable.
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
I've watched that because I have watched like half the episodes. I've watched that
Yeah.
scene. Yeah. Good scene.
It's a good scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think everybody's-
I like it when Loki. Sorry, I like it when Loki plays mind games.
I think literally everyone's going to find out who these timekeepers are and be severely disappointed. Like I say, they could just be dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Mobius could have killed them. And Mobius is like the mastermind behind it all.
No, I somehow doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt that.
But potentially.
I mean,
guess.
never write anything off, I guess.
I feel like if you've killed the timekeepers, you wouldn't just be, like a lieutenant in the police force.
If he
If so,
pulled the timekeepers off, he would have been off surfing by now.
this is true. Jet skiing, even.
Jet skiing, that's what it was. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the episode on Wednesday, so I don't remember every detail.
Yeah. That's fair. I watched it last night, lol.
So there you go. I just asked you to fact check. Easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is very possible the timekeepers are dead, because there is a point in the episode where Loki asks Mobius, like, do the timekeepers know, like, how does the universe end?
Yeah.
Or stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then Mobius just says, like, oh, well, they're still creating that, or they're still unraveling the threads of the future. Or
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's like
some
vague
vague crap.
It's like George R. Martin writing the Game of Thrones books, and the TV show just kind of overtakes him. And he hasn't done writing the ending yet.
There's still like 3 more books, and he hasn't even
Yeah.
begun writing on any of them.
You reckon the timekeepers don't know how the universe ends just because they have writer's block?
Yeah.
Honestly,
That's
very
right.
possible.
Like, we don't know how to end this.
Oh, the dinosaurs. Bring them back.
Don't the dinosaurs exist in Marvel? Isn't there like Dinosaur Land?
Yeah, there's Dinosaur Island.
Yeah.
Cool.
We haven't seen it in the movies though, but it's a very Spider-Man thing
Oh yeah, you're right.
generally. So I feel like maybe even though they've done like 30 films, they just haven't found room to slot in Dinosaur Island yet, which would have been a way better plot for Ant-Man 2, come to think,
Oh, that would have been dope.
as opposed to whatever happened in that movie.
Yeah.
Another heist? Question mark.
A worse heist? Question mark.
I generally am struggling to remember. I just remember how the movie ends. That's it. Ant-Man 2 plot.
I just remember Walton Goggins was there, and I wish they gave him literally anything else to do in the Marvel Universe because he's great.
Oh, you're right. He wasn't that. Oh, the movie was about them going to the quantum realm to get back
Oh, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
That was it. Yeah.
That's what that was the plot.
But also, they stole a building.
Yeah.
Or no, they lived in a building?
Yeah, they lived in a building they just made small.
Lawrence Fishburne was in it for some reason.
Oh yeah, he was in that movie.
Was she a ghost?
Oh, and then Ghost was in the movie. She was someone else. I don't know how she ended up.
She was British.
Yeah. She was British. That's
Or
all you need to know.
in real life, anyway. Yeah. I didn't even know. Is she more of an Ant-Man or Iron Man villain? Because I'm guessing these 2 things.
The Ghost?
2 things. Yeah, because I know.
Dying, Mike.
She what?
You're dying off, Mike.
Yeah. Because she was in Iron Man Armored Adventures, back in the day. That's why I know her.
I have no idea. To be honest, let me check. Let me give it a Google.
All I know about her from the comics is she was in like the Thunderbolts at one point, I think.
You know, I was about to Google it, and then I realized I don't care. Anyways, why are we talking about Ant-Man 2? We're talking about Loki.
Exactly. The better
thing. The better thing. What else happens in this episode? Not a whole lot. Other than what
I mean, that's
talking about.
kind of it. Oh, they go to Pompeii.
Oh, that was pretty good.
Oh, with the volcano.
Loki starts screaming. Because, okay, so, Colm, in case you haven't got this far, basically, Owen Wilson is like, all right, Loki, here's all the files on you. I want you to comb through them and try to like pick up a trail for us.
Yeah.
And anyways, he's reading through files on himself and he's not interested, so he goes to the like library and he's like, hey, can I get files on the creation of the universe? And she's like, no. He's like, beginning of time? And she's like, no. Classified. And he's like, what can I have? And she gives him the destruction of Asgard. Like from Ragnarok. Yep. And he realizes there's 0 variance energy. around that event, and he realizes that because Ragnarok destroys Asgard, he could have done anything on Asgard, anything at all, and it wouldn't matter because 30 seconds later, Asgard's going to get destroyed. So, to test this theory, him and Owen Wilson go to Pompeii, and Loki basically just starts screaming at the populace, telling them that the volcano is going to erupt in 30 seconds and that they're all going to die. And they're all
He's a
giggling
god.
at him. And he's a god, and he sets a bunch of goats free to run amok. And Owen
Yeah.
Wilson's sitting there like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this. But then he realizes the variance energy, nothing's happening, and then the volcano erupts, and they're like, oh, your theory's right. So they understand how to catch Loki. Then they have to find an event where a group of people are going to all die.
An apocalyptic event.
An apocalyptic event, yeah.
Right, in Apocalypse, so whenever Loki did all that at Pompeii, it didn't affect anything. Like they all still died because
Yeah.
it's inevitable. Okay, I get it. Right.
Yeah.
Here's a theory though. This also isn't my theory. I watched a different video, but Ragnarok, right? What if he got there, told everyone that they were gonna die and stuff. One guy then believes him. He runs to Bifrost to try escape, drops a banana peel, and then they're all fighting there later on, like before it blows up. Like Hulk's there, Hulk slips in a banana peel, doesn't get off Asgard in time, dies, which means that he isn't there for the game, which means he isn't there to like snap his fingers and bring everyone back later on in the movie with Infinity Gauntlets. Means that yeah, it has consequences.
That would never happen though, then, because that would create time variance energy, and then the TVA would know about it.
Yeah, when he picked up that app, or when he picked up that banana, the Time Variance Authority would come and wipe him from all existence.
Yeah, like here's the thing.
Ah,
That this only happens if, like, I'm guessing, like a day before the event. Nothing will show up because at that point,
near enough that you can basically change nothing that can turn out to be significant.
exactly. If you show up 2 years before
Oh,
Pompeii and
right.
start shouting, "Hey, that thing's gonna explode in a couple of years! Don't move here," that
Yeah.
that will create something. That will
Yeah.
change what happens. But like if you do it in a short time frame to the event happening, there's nothing you can do.
It's actually really interesting. Yeah. Ah.
Yeah,
I
it is.
see. I see.
Because Loki made that point, he's like, oh, I could have pushed Hulk off the Rainbow Bridge, which is a bad example, because if Hulk wasn't there and just died in Asgard, then yeah, what you said would have happened.
Yeah.
But he does say at the end, it's not a perfect analogy. Also, I like that bit where he just ruins Owen Wilson's lunch.
Just puts
Just like,
copious amounts of salt on it.
yeah, salt and pepper, and then he just squirts milk into it from a carton.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm proving a point, and Owen Wilson's like, please stop.
I want to eat.
It was such a good scene.
Those have actually really nice chemistry.
They
I'm
really
actually
do.
quite enjoying it.
They're both just exceptional actors. This is one thing. At least they're not wasting anyone like they did with Winter Soldier. And absolutely no harm to Paul Bettany or Elizabeth Olsen. They're both great. But we are kind of at a step up with the likes of Tom Hiddleston.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry if Elizabeth Olsen or Paul Bettany ever listen and hear that, but...
I'm sorry, Olsen stands. Bettany stands.
And Stan Bettany. But yeah, I think that's, unless you guys have anything else, I think that's all the Loki stuff.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think we've touched on all the important bit, and all the rest Colm can find out when he watches the episode.
Yeah, I like the bit where he walks into the store in Alabama just before that apocalypse, and he's all wet, and he just magics it off, and that one chick's like, what?
Okay, but that's brought up more questions for me now, though.
How so?
So he can clearly use magic when they're not in the TVA.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't he?
Because he knows that... Well, they had this conversation. They had that exact conversation when they were walking down the hallway real early on. He's like, how do you know I'm going to betray you? And he's like, because you know that we'll just show up and erase you from existence wherever you go.
Okay, but then why didn't he use any magic when he was fighting other Loki?
I don't know, man, because the show's bad.
There you go. I'll accept that.
And also, I
I'll
feel like
take that.
I am also kind of. It's like he was on his own, and his ego wouldn't let him just stab that Loki and have it be done with. Like he needs to figure out what she's on about, and like
But he doesn't need to use his magic to kill her. He can just use it to incapacitate her, and he'll still, or even just weaken her to the point where she wouldn't be able. Well, at that moment, he didn't know it was a she, I suppose. Uh,
what he Ben Shapiro with all these facts and logic.
I am. I am.
Oh no.
So, small tech issue. You will never hear it in the final product.
I mean, hear it now because you said it. You could have just continued your sentence.
Okay, but here's the thing. I don't know
Like
where
dumb
Craig
man.
stopped. I shut the up. I don't know where Craig stopped recording, so this makes it easier for me to edit the two audio settings together. You would notice if you bothered to edit yourself, but you're lazy.
Yeah, I refuse.
Okay. Happy?
No, but go on.
All right. Bo Burnham's inside. Jordan said something last night, which is, someone told me it's just a bunch of songs put together. That's not what it is. That's
I'm
like the
sorry.
first. Whoever told you that needs to be sorry because they're gonna get beat up.
All right,
myself.
I'll punch them.
No, that's not what it is. Like the first half hour is made up of majority of the songs. That's true. But after that, it kind of just becomes something else, more about like his experience being inside, which is the name of the movie. So yeah, don't watch this movie because you think it's a bunch of comedy songs put together. You'll be disappointed, maybe. Yeah, but it is excellent, and I recommend it to anyone. My own mother watched it, and she somewhat liked it.
Oh,
Which
if your
means
mom
it's
like
good.
somewhat liked it, that means it should get an Oscar.
That means it should be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The songs are excellent. I wouldn't recommend listening to all of them before watching it, because some of them could maybe like spoil it a little bit.
Oopsies.
Like again, it depends. Like there's free ones I can think of that you can just listen to whenever, but like a couple of other ones that appeared like at the end of the movie, I wouldn't recommend those. If you see a song called "Goodbye," don't watch that one. You know,
Sure.
Jordan.
I haven't, and I won't.
Good. Just watch the full special. It's only 90 minutes. Very
Yeah,
good.
I might do that. I might even do that tonight. We'll see.
Yeah, I recommend it. Anyway, that's it. That's all I want to say.
Cool.
Colm, you have anything you've been watching or doing or playing or reading or?
Yeah, tell us about Clarkson's Farm.
What are you talking?
Farm's
Yeah,
pretty good.
why don't you?
I've watched the first episode, and we're gonna keep watching it. Each episode is like an hour long, so it's like a good chunk of time, I guess. But it's pretty good fun. And now basically, it's like Top Gear on a farm,
And with
and only
just
Jeremy
Clarkson.
is just
Yeah.
Clarkson. But it's still the same kind of vibe. Yeah, like so far, it is good. Like it explains a lot about farming, and like answers a lot of questions that no one ever has about farming because not a lot of people ask about farming. It's pretty cool. And then there's about Clarkson and this one other guy who's like trying to help him run the farm. And this one other guy has just lived on his farm his entire life. He's never left his area, his little village, his little farm village, where he knows like literally everything there is to know about farming, and he knows like all the farmer fields nearby. And he's like 20 years old. And their chemistry's pretty funny because Clarkson knows like nothing about farming, so he keeps like messing up planting crops and stuff. They get like way behind schedule and lose like thousands because of weather, etc. But yeah, it's a good watch. Pretty funny.
All that happened. So, ooh.
Yeah, all that in the first episode. Yeah. The first episode is called Tractors, so it's mostly about buying tractors and planting crops. And I think next ones might be about animals and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty funny because like he realizes how much stuff and equipment he actually needs to buy in order to run the farm, like how expensive it all is. So he ends up going to like second-hand farming auctions and trying to like place good bids. and everyone there is like, he says, farming's very diverse. Here at this auction, there's every single type of 60-year-old white male you can have.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yep. Pretty good first episode. Highly
Sounds good. I
recommend.
might check it out.
Yeah, you should.
I guess I might as well plug a show.
Oh,
Did I talk about Castlevania here yet? No.
You
I
what?
knew it.
Have
No.
I talked about Castlevania on the show?
Not
Oh,
in detail.
no, not yet, not yet.
All right. Well, the fourth season, which is the final season, just wrapped up.
Time to mute.
I'll not be long. Look, hey, the alternative is talk about Meat Eater, which I might do next week. Which is a better show. But no, Castlevania is really good. It's anime styled, but it's not an anime because it was made by a Western production company.
You're a closet weep, we know.
I knew I could get you talking again. Anyways, but no, it's good. It's all about Castlevania. It's all about Dracula living in his castle, and he starts causing some trouble. And basically, that's how the show kicks off. It's how it starts, and then it evolves over 4 seasons. Whether or not they deal with the Dracula problem, whether it comes back or doesn't, how they go about it, all the different characters, different vampires doing their thing. And then you've got kind of the core 3 main characters who, after season 1, which is like 4 20-minute episodes, it becomes 40-minute, 8 to 10 episode seasons after that. But the 3 main characters for season 2 and season 4 spend a bit of time together. But in season 3, their paths diverge quite severely. So you've got, at any one time, you've got like 3 or 4 story threads going, and all of them are engaging. I think it's super worth a look. If you like the first season, which again, it's only 4 short episodes, you'll probably like the rest of it. I think season 4 may have been its strongest. If not season 2. But yeah, it's a super good show. Like I say, it's all on Netflix. And that's all I have to say, Sam, about it.
Cool.
I got 4 episodes into the 3rd season. I got bored, and I never bothered coming back.
That is the worst season, so that's fair.
Yeah, I think the first episode, like the pilot, the first season is excellent.
Well, the pilot is insane.
Yeah, it's insanely good. I think season 2 is definitely the best season, considering I've only watched 2 and 4.
Yeah.
For me, the story kind of wrapped with season 2, so I had trouble.
Yeah, I thought so too. In fairness, and it does kind of take until season 4 to like bring it back.
Yeah. Plus, Jordan kept saying, "Oh, there's saucy sex scenes in season 3," and there was nothing in what I watched. So it's like, what's even the point?
All right. Firstly, it was too horny for my liking. All right.
Anything's too horny for your liking.
You're right. Keep it in the bedroom. All right. Off my TV. And yeah, you only watched the first episode. It was like the last episode it shows up.
I watched the first 4.
Like I say, it's the last episode it showed up.
If I'm told a show has a saucy sex scene, it better appear at the beginning, or I'm not gonna get hooked. Like,
I thought you wanted to see an anime boob or two. I don't know.
I've seen anime boob or 2. Okay.
Jeez.
Well,
this is spiraling.
Here. Yeah, the spiraling beyond my
liking.
Expertise.
Yeah, expertise. I'm not qualified.
We're going too far.
This.
Yeah, we're going too far into Sam's.
Sam's private
field of experience. I think.
Yeah.
You guys want me to recommend the show?
I'd rather you didn't.
Not after that, Sam.
Just based on what we've been talking about,
All right. Well, now.
Okay, go ahead.
Fine. I regret this.
Oh wait, you're actually listening. Oh crap! I got to think of something. I actually haven't been watching watch anime recently, so I don't
Good.
even have anything animated to recommend. Apart from Avatar: Last Airbender, which I always recommend.
Is that even? I haven't even classified that as anime because American made.
It's the same as Castlevania, where it's
That's true.
So not
Yes.
anime.
well, actually, it's even worse because the animation is Korean. I believe it was a Korean animation team
Oh.
that did it,
Ah.
but it was for an American network, so it's like no
Yeah.
Japanese involved.
It's such a good show, by the way. Oh, I
Yeah.
went to. This is like a random fact, but I went to Blackpool Pleasure Beach this week, which is like a theme park, and they have a section of it which is called Nickelodeon Land. So I went on a ride called the Airbender, and it's a ride that makes you feel like you're airbending, and it's just like you just sit down on those kind of things, like Aang and Bumi race down, and just sends you back and forth, and it's really good fun. Random facts, but it's fun.
Would recommend again? Question mark.
Yep. There's a picture of
Cool.
me with a statue of Aang as well, so on all the good
Nice.
trip.
Sounds fun. I don't know if I have any shows I'd recommend actually.
Have you watched Legend of Korra?
Half of the first season, and then I kind
Any
of
good?
realized I wasn't enjoying it that much.
Uh,
Some people enjoy it, other people don't.
yeah.
Like it's
I
very
think
split amongst the Avatar
yeah,
fan base.
yeah. I think the general consensus is some people enjoy it, some people don't. But Avatar is just better, like overall, than it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not like personally. I'm also just not a big fan of the way it's like so far into the future, like they've all aged and everything. Whenever in reality, it's only been made like a couple of years after previous show ended. But yeah.
Sure.
Hmm.
There was a
Yeah.
show I watched recently. Oh yeah, I watched Into the Badlands, but I can't recommend that show because
Oh.
even though it's
Why
really
not?
good, well, they cancel it after third season, and the third season ends on a cliffhanger.
We're good.
So like, I genuinely like, I really enjoyed the show. I think the first season especially is really good. Like, if you
Yeah.
like Mad Max, you'll love this show.
Okay.
But just knowing how you're gonna have to be satisfied with the ending of season 3, which you won't be, it's just hard to recommend that.
Could you
Yeah.
do what my girlfriend did with Hannibal and stop watching after the second season?
No, all of the
Well,
seasons end with cliffhangers.
yeah. There's a show that was good for a while and then went really bad. Hannibal.
Fun fact: I never bothered watching the last 3 episodes.
Really? That's just when season 3 got good again, though.
I know. I watched the first episode of the good part. I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. Then I just never felt any motivation to continue watching,
Yeah.
though. Because that
It's
first
really-
half just, it just killed me.
It's no good. It's terrible. Yeah. When they actually get into the Great Red Dragon storyline, it's good. But you got to sit through like the storyline of the movie Hannibal, which is where he goes
Yeah.
to France and pretends to be civil while like I think is he a French foreign agent who pretends to be some kind of art collector, tries to get close to him, but really he's working with the CIA or something. Anyways.
Something like that, I think.
And also the main character, Will Graham, is his name?
Yes.
He's off investigating Hannibal's past, and he finds a man in a cocoon because that guy killed Hannibal's sister. And then there was a weird lady assassin who was with
So
Will,
bad.
but then she pushed him off a train. And also, nobody has a conversation in that half of the season. They're just talking weird
So bad.
metaphors the whole time. And I mean, every sentence is just a stupid metaphor. But
It's
then
so
halfway
bad.
through, they just go back to doing detective stuff, and it's pretty good again. So I don't know. I don't get it.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Hmm.
The first two
2
seasons are great, though.
Yeah. Absolute class. Best TV of all time candidate.
Perhaps.
Better than
Except,
Sherlock.
oh, by a lot.
Oh, Sherlock is so good.
What a terrible show.
Yeah,
What? Sherlock?
Yeah, I don't like Sherlock.
the
I
more I
love
look
Sherlock.
back on it, the more I dislike it as well.
Yes, you're coming to the good side.
Here's the thing,
Oh.
though. I
Sad.
wouldn't be if the fourth season didn't exist.
I haven't watched fourth season.
Good, don't.
Yeah,
It's
the first
the
season's definitely the worst, but I hated most of it. Anyways, we can, yeah, look, we've been the podcast of Solitude. I forgot we were doing a podcast there for the past 15 minutes.
And this is our Father's Day special.
This is the Father's Day special. Thank you to all the fathers.
Thank you to all the fathers, especially us.
Especially us three.
You're
thank you
three
for your
fathers.
service.
You're three fathers of podcasting.
We're like the time fathers, except
Yeah,
we're keeping
we
the
are.
stream of podcasting alive.
Exactly.
If anyone
We're the
steps out of line on a
prime
podcast, we show up and beat them with sticks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Our job.
This is true.
It's not important that anyone listens to us. It's just important that we're there to beat people with sticks whenever they say something they're not meant to on a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Owen Wilson, he'll let us know. He will let us know.
He's got a direct line to us and us to him.
He does. And he listens to every podcast, every one.
Wow.
Just like Joe
Wow.
Rogan.
Just like Joe. That's not the best Joe Rogan name ever. So hold on, I'll send you a Joe Rogan meme. It's like a great text, and it is maybe the funniest thing on planet Earth. I'll post it on the Instagram too. So good. But anyways,
Oh, we should make a podcast Solitude meme page.
no, that's
all our
when we
memes.
get a gathering, and someone else will do that for us.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll get
cycle.
maybe, or we could leech off memers for listeners. Maybe if they like our memes, they'll listen to our podcast.
that's a good point. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
It's very
That's an
Anyways,
idea.
Find us on Instagram at Podcast of Solitude, or shoot us an email at podcastofsolitude@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we'll reply with a meme.
We'll we might.
We
Do we
might
have any emails? Has anyone checked the email?
That's your job.
Yeah.
I do editing and uploading, and that's already enough work for 1 week.
That is true. I don't think so, because I think I could emails to my phone. Yeah, no, don't worry. It's just advertisements from our
Sponsors.
Sponsors.
those. Oh, by the way, we got offered sponsorship. I should tell you that.
Another one?
What?
Yeah.
Is-
From,
Is this the ball cleaners again?
it is. It's the people that want to
What?
balls.
No. What's that? Please explain.
Um,
What is it?
it's like a razor company dedicated to rivers for like just shaving your
Balls.
below the belt region.
Yeah.
Balls off.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to do that, so I can't give an honest review of the product. Therefore, I'm out.
Oh. How would we advertise that in our podcast? 2 seconds. Before we start talking about this, first, a message from our sponsors.
I could have swore you were
Do
going to
you
say.
have a ball sock? If so,
I could have swore you were going to say. Give me 2 seconds while I shave my balls on the podcast.
I was expecting it. Oh.
Wow.
Okay, what's the second sponsor that emailed us in?
Another ball shaving company.
Good, yes.
I think it's the same one with different about. You know how they have like quote unquote.
Are they all
brands? I think
scams?
yeah, they're all scams. Like none of these are real. I'm fairly sure, but
the competition though. If one of the if one of the ball sack companies hears us advertising the other one in our podcast, they're gonna kick off.
that is true.
Yeah.
Well, let me check because
Where's the message?
it wasn't the actual page. It was one of those like it's like a no name or like no followers, no posts, no following page,
Yeah.
and
The good ones.
but one of the good ones, and they're like, "Oh, go follow this page," and it's like
Another
a real page
ball
with like,
sack page.
okay, here's the name of the company: Smooth My Balls. And they've got
That's a
400
class
and-
name.
yeah,
Class
they've got
name.
473,000 followers, and it's like, you know, oh, private message these people to get in work, and I'm like,
Yeah.
they definitely just bought followers.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hashtag OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Look, I can help with that, don't you?
Oh gosh. Of course you can. But yeah, so that's who we've been offered a sponsorship with for our podcast that no one listens to.
But can we reply to them? Can we just say, sorry, not interested in shaving there yet?
Yeah. None of us are old enough to grow hair there yet.
No.
2-in-1. It's a 2-in-1 sponsorship deal.
Sorry, we're only 12. Please don't follow us. Please don't contact us ever again. We'll tell our
Don't follow our
parents.
Instagram, but also
So-
don't follow us.
We'll tell our parents.
No, you, the listener, can follow us, but not Smooth My Balls.
Yeah. No,
Rather you
hashtag
didn't.
smoothlyballs.com.
Such a good name.
That's really good.
Oh no! Just reply saying no, thank you, but then follow them anyway.
not even the company page, but like the ambassador with 0 followers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you doing?
Well, enough of still recording this, by the way. Please keep a lot of this in. It means,
I will.
Yeah, for
This
the
is too
next
good.
Instagram post, you'll say, listen to our Loki, just talk about Loki, but then have a bit of a picture.
And then go off track
smoothlyballs.com.
talking about smooth balls.
Yeah.
I might do that actually. That could be funny.
This podcast was a mistake.
Yet here we are, still doing it.
A happy mistake.
Paying $5 a month
There
for
ain't
it.
no mistakes. Just happy little accidents.
Happy little accident.
That was the worst Bob Ross impression I've ever heard, if ever I've heard one, Sam.
Well, good.
I think that's a good note.
Statistics.
That's a good note to end it on. Righto. We can talk statistics off mic because we don't need the people to know that no one listens.
Well, we don't need the people to know that no one listens. Okay, yeah, and
Righto then. Goodbye.
thanks for
Goodbye.
listening.